Let's get ready to rumble!
ZingerNation, jam-packed show today. Peloton up 5%.
What's up, disciplined investor?
We got Benzinga CEO Jason Raznick here with us.
The man, the myth, the legend, Tom Nash.
Peter Schiff on the Power Hour with us live today. Interesting, different, unique, innovative companies. Mia, you are live with us on the Power Hour. What's up?
Thank you so much for inviting me on.
Jessica Billingsley is the CEO of Aperna. The best trade idea resource out there. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's the second day of the week, but I already get to say happy hump day. Woo! We made it. It's Wednesday. Hump day, my favorite Geico commercial of all time. If you don't know the Geico Hump Day commercial, look it up, all right? Do yourself a favor. You'll get it stuck in your head for years to come, just like I did. But what's going on, everybody? This is the Power Hour. This is the time to fire up. This is the time to get the trade ideas going. The only reason that I take this hour out of my day, I hope you take this hour out of your day, is that way we can get the idea flow running. We can get hopping. We can get going. Shout out Refined Warrior already in the chat saying hi, guys. If you have stocks you're looking at, stocks you're trading, let's talk about them. Names which are on my radar. We have Newegg. We have Didi I want to talk about again. Shinobi Signals is going to be joining us in like 2 minutes from now. We are going to be talking to Shinobi because last week he came on the show. He gave us 2 trades. He gave us Clorox and Home Depot as swing trades. They both played out nicely. So he's going to talk about what happened with those trades after he gave them to us. And then he's got a new swing trade setup. So yeah, Shinobi's going to be hopping back on in a minute here. 12:20 Eastern, Bill Libby, Growth Capital. We're going to be talking VC. We're going to be talking small companies. But Bill Libby is going to be joining us on the show at 12:20. And then 12:50, member of ZingerNation is going to be coming on, talk about the show, talk about Benzinga, talk about ideas again, guys. Boom. Idea flow going. Let's hit it. Let's rip it. It is time to rock and roll. First things first, before we bring Shinobi on here, Newegg. Let me share my screen here. Can we just talk about Newegg for a second? Because I missed this one. I'll admit it. I let you guys down. I missed the Newegg one. Will somebody tell me what the hell is going on with Newegg? Here's 2-day chart. Here's 5-day chart. We actually brought the stock up last week and we talked about it. We said, hey, Newegg is getting some energy and getting a little bit of a pop. But I mean, yeah, it's going nuts. Today the stock is up more than 100%, sitting at $55 off of 70. The company did come out with a PR this morning. The press release, I'll pull it up per our trusty Benzinga Pro. The press release was nothing super notable. Basically, Newegg is saying that they will build custom PCs, custom computers for people. That's not what's moving the stock, okay? There's something else that's going on. I don't know if it's a chat room stock or what, but if anybody knows what the hell is going on with Newegg, our favorite online computer reseller, please let us know. Past 5 days, the stock has gone from 10 to as high as 70, now at 56. All right, so we want to know what's going on with Newegg. If somebody can help fill us in, let's go. Let's talk about that one. But all right, guys, we have to give credit where credit is due. Let me bring our first guest of the day onto the stream, Shinobi Signals. Last week, he came on. He talked us through 2 swing trades. We have one in Clorox, one in Home Depot. So he's going to take us back through those trades, how they played out, and then he has another similar setup. So let me go ahead and bring Shinobi. Hello, sir. What's up? How are you doing?
Yo, I'm doing good, man. How you doing? Thanks for having me again.
For sure. It's hump day. We're getting the energy fired up. You gave us a couple trades last week. I didn't hit either. In retrospect, I missed out. But you know, can you take us through each of those trades and basically the thesis for them again?
Yeah. I'm just gonna share my screen real quick if I can. All right, right there. Okay. So hopefully you guys can see my screen.
Yep,
yeah.
we got it.
All right. So the last time I wrote it all out for everyone, it was breaking the downtrend, had a mid squeeze, bullish divergence on the squeeze pro. We had volume jumping up, and then we had this move. We caught it right here, and then it went to like 180, 181, and it was hitting resistance. Contracts, we entered the 190 calls for 716. They were around 70 cents when I called them out, and when we were on here, and this consolidation just really messed up with the theta. Everyone was panicking, selling out. At one point, I was just like, yo, if you want to exit, just go ahead and exit, because I had my conviction for the play. Then, once it broke out of this zone, which we mentioned, it just shot up. It just shot up today. And then now the contracts just today are up 300%. But from our entry, if you didn't average down at all, they're up 100%. So, it was a great play. We had everything mapped out. It was just a A-plus setup, and paid really well. So
okay, so the breakout is happening today. You mentioned, correct?
yeah, so it broke
And
out
the
of
first ticker that we're looking at, this is CLX, right?
yeah.
Okay, so Clorox ticker CLX. So you called the line. The stock broke out above it. We got that move today. How are you managing the trade now? Are you still in it? Or did you get part of the way out? Did you get totally out of it? What's the move today?
So mainly when it hit 185 at first today, because I had it in my Weeble, and I don't really check my Weeble that much for longer swings. So when I saw it, I opened it up and it was down for the longest time. I checked it there. I'm like, oh my God, what happened to CLX? So I went back in. I saw, I'm like, oh crap, it's at 185, and then I'm like, oh, finally. So I scaled out 75% of my trade there, and I left 25% as runners, just in case it goes to 190 today and the calls go in the money. It would add like a nice premium boost there. So I'm letting 25% of my position just ride out.
Okay, and it's the 190 call. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it was the 190 call for next week, so 716. When I entered, everyone's like, why are you going so out the money? Because I even mentioned it, the price target was right here, just for it to hit this resistance and go test it, and that's what it's doing right now.
Okay, and you have 25% of the position on. And then can we look at Home Depot as well? That was the other one last week. You drew the chart. You took us through the trade. Can we get an update on Home Depot?
Yeah, so Home Depot did fire as well. It was amazing. So, it broke this downtrend. We entered in on this consolidation break, and once it broke out, you can see it's hitting 423. We called this out around or 325-ish. We called this out around 315, so it's made a $10 move since. And yeah, it's just looking like it's going to continue upward still. Just broke past the POC, which is the point of control. And, if it continues up, we can see a nice move to 333 range, which is, the next shelf. So it's looking pretty decent right now. I'm actually all out of this play. I exited 2-3 days ago or last week, and then I exited out of this play fully. So I'm missing out on whatever gains there are left. But, if we see a nice pullback and we see a retest of this consolidation area, I'll re-enter. But for now, I'm all out, so I'm not just going to chase the play. But if anyone's still in, you should see a nice move to 330s. As long as the market doesn't, just completely crash.
Boom. All right, there it is. You get an air horn for that one. Let's go. So you're 2 for 2 on the picks you gave us last week. I've been watching them, so I said, all right, Shinobi, we got the second breakout coming through today. Let's come back on and recap them. So if you guys got in, smash the like, share the stream, as always. But you said that you have another one. You have another stock that's setting up in a similar way, which I think is even more exciting than the recap of the two from last week. Can you give us that one?
Yeah, so I just entered this a little bit ago, maybe 30 minutes ago. I'm looking at Corsair. So this fits into the theme of Newegg. So it's almost like a sympathy play at that, but not really, because it's just a gaming company. So Corsair, they've been really beat down. So their highs were around 51. They've been really beat down since then. We can see it's downtrend.
Give us the ticker again.
CRSR.
CRSR. Somebody in the chat drop that in there. Help your fellow zingers out. Corsair, CRSR. Keep going, Shinobi.
Yeah, so CRSR. You can see this demand zone it has, and the point of control is at 31, almost 32. But you can see every time it comes down to this level, you always see nice spikes back up to this trend. So what I'm expecting, I played this once on this bounce here, and then we caught it to 34. So now what we're expecting is, it's bouncing. We just had a nice little wick here from that level today. We have a mid squeeze coming in. I'm expecting it to go back to that 34 range. And if it breaks that, we can definitely come and test this 43 range again, just as long as everything flows smoothly. So that's what I'm looking at for CRSR, is a bounce off this demand zone, a possible break of the trend line, then a move into the 40s. And, it should make like an EGG type move like Newegg soon, in my opinion. So I actually picked up the 47 or 45 calls for 820. They're a little bit out the money, but, it's not that big of a deal for me, to be honest, because if this makes the move it needs, IV will push the contracts up by itself. And I chose cheaper contracts because a lot of my followers like cheap contracts. So I just played those, and yeah, we should see a nice move on this. I think Joe Alerts is also bullish on this as well.
Okay, so let me just recap the trade. So it's a bullish trade in Corsair, CRSR. You have the stock that's sitting on some support. You have a trend line identified that you want to see a break above. So that's the reason why you had the bullish thesis. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, more so the demand zone, to be honest, just because
Okay.
every time it dropped, like, look at this consolidation. And, consolidation on HD, as we saw, every time there's a solid time frame of just consolidation, you always expect a move, a really nice move. And especially with the bull market right now, it's most likely going to be bullish. Like Amazon, it was consolidating for a year, and in the past 3 days, it's just been shooting up. And everyone could have expected that the second it broke above, the top of the consolidation. So that's what I'm looking at for here, because this consolidation, it's just squeezing the stock more and more and more. So when it does make a move and the squeeze does release, this is going to actually just launch, in my opinion.
It's absolutely a Newegg sympathy play potentially, so that could help the thesis and get some energy going there. And the way that you're in the position is you bought the $40 strike August 20th calls. Is that accurate?
I bought the 45s, but you could go any.
45s.
Yeah.
Wait, so you're way out.
Yeah.
Well, how
I'm
much
out.
those calls cost?
They cost like 60 cents per contract, so $60 per contract. I'm
That's
only in
still
one third.
expensive for a $15 move on those calls.
Yeah. So I mean, just imagine when it actually, even if this moves to like 34, 35, those contracts should see a nice move, just because the IV was like around 80% when I hopped in, so it was still relatively high. So that could have been a reason for it. And I'm only in 1/3 of my position so far, because you can see anytime it bounces, last time it bounced straight to 33. But, if it comes back down to this demand zone, I want to add more. So I'm only in like 1/3 of my full position, and I want to keep scaling in, adding on dips, on the way up, and then be able to scale out as well once we get the move we want.
All right, and then Newegg. Do you know what the hell is going on with Newegg? This is like the craziest stock ever. Yeah, but will you pull up a chart?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, just give a second for my chart to load up. All the things I have on it. Yeah, this is wild. I have no idea what's happening here. But, like, honestly, you could have just, any technical analysis isn't going to work, but I mean,
no
person,
fundamental analysis is going to work. Something is happening.
Yeah.
I don't know what. But something is happening.
It's probably Nancy Pelosi, let's be honest.
Yeah, it's probably Nancy Pelosi. But guys, so if you look to last week, we actually talked about Newegg last week. We got like a couple $5 bounces throughout the week, and that's why the stock hopped up on our radar, but I didn't really think a ton of it. And then today, I mean, you get the 100% run. Again, if anybody in the chat knows what's going on with Newegg, fill us all in. I saw somebody earlier say that the stock is highly shorted, so it's potentially a short squeeze that's happening or a short squeeze target. But again, if anybody can help ZingerNation out, that's what we're for. We're just all trying to make it through, guys.
Yeah.
Trading's hard, life's hard. If you can help us out, help us out. And Shinobi, can we get a date on the room pickup? It's a little bit messy.
Room pickup.
If we can get a little bit of cleaning going.
I just got I just got a bunch of packages, so I had to open them yesterday. So it's just all on my couch. I gotta throw it out soon.
Are they from Newegg or no?
No, of course not. They're from Corsair though.
Okay, all right, there you go.
I just got a bunch of fans for my PC. That
Single-handedly driving sales in Corsair.
Yeah. No, but look, someone in the chat, Cole Pender, he just said, I just sold my 190 calls on CLX. Thank you for the pick. Look at that. People are banking from Benzinga. This is nice.
Boom. There we go, baby.
Yeah.
All right, let me see if I have any other, like, good, I don't know. I haven't explored the soundboard enough recently. We'll figure it out. Here we go. This is the last one. Cool. All right, Shinobi. I appreciate you hopping back on with us, man. Again, guys, I saw both of the trades that he gave us last week play out in real time. You know, we're trying to bring the ideas. So I wanted to hear the new one, CRSR Corsair. You know, I could have just asked him, but figure let's just do it on the show and hear the thesis all together. And Shinobi, how do folks stay in touch?
Just on my Twitter, Shinobi Signals.
Boom. I will get the link to that in the chat. Make sure to throw in the follow, say hi, shit post on his Twitter, whatever it is that you want to do, all right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Cool. All righty. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate you having me, man. Take it easy.
Absolutely. I will talk to you soon. Boom. So there we have it, guys. First set of ideas of the day. If you're just joining us, this is the Power Hour. This is the Trade Idea segment. You know, I asked for some tickers out of the chat. We didn't get a ton. So if anybody has tickers on this beautiful hump day, throw them in the chat. Let's see where everybody's at. I'm having a meh day. Nothing super interesting going on in the live portfolio today. So let's hop around to some other ideas. I want to take a second to talk about DD again. DD is our stock of the week. It's one that we're all not doing great on. And DD is starting to get potentially into like I don't know. I don't buy dips. I don't do it. But it's starting to get close to that territory. And so let me go ahead and pull up my screen here. There we go. We asked a question to ZingerNation last week, or yesterday. The question was, hold on, sneeze. Okay. The question was, what price is DD going to finish at this week? It answers up here on the board. The price of DD when we asked the question was $12.30. The lowest member of the community who came in said $10. The highest was $15.30 with our average at $13. All right. So that's the story with DD. If you don't know the company, it is the Uber of China. It's ubiquitous in China. Huge company. If you don't know what's happening with the stock, they had an IPO last week. They ran into some regulatory issues and had to get taken off of app stores over the weekend. Horrible timing with its IPO. Potentially Chinese government trying to send a message there. But regardless, with the stocks down so much from its highs, it had highs of 17. We were down to $12 yesterday. We asked the question, where is the stock going to finish at? You know, we're off another 5% today. You know, which is not horrible compared to the 20+% sell-off that we had yesterday. But again, we're still seeing some selling. If we get a green day, I might be doing some bottom buying with a small position on this stock. So guys, keep DD on the watch list. I also have Alibaba on the watch list. Tomorrow, potentially taking a long position in Baba via option. So stay tuned. We might be doing that on the show tomorrow. And Jason Raznick, I see, is joining us. You got somebody in the chat, Jason, talking about VSTO ammo play. I know you're big on those stocks.
You know, how about Mike Tesla selling the calls and buying the puts yesterday?
I was just going to ask you about that, Jason. Do you still have the puts on Tesla?
Yeah, it's my hedge. I'm going to have them for a while. I sold more stock before the close, but I know we have a guest that I haven't talked to in a while. He used to be at Goldman Sachs, then got in the alternative data space.
Barclays, too.
And what'd you say?
He was at Goldman Sachs and Barclays. Very impressive resume.
Yeah, and he told me he was going to start this, lending fund and this thing, and it was an idea in his head. Got it going. He's like, Jason, do you want to be the first seat in? Well, I didn't have $1 to borrow then. Suffice to say, his fund has blown up in a good way. They put out like hundreds of millions of dollars to the biggest internet subscription companies in the world. And I can say I knew him when. So that's me dropping a name, I guess. But wait, so Luke, can I go transition to that? Because I don't know. Aaron Bree changes the timing on me all the time. And why is Aaron Bree using the wrong camera, wrong lights? What are you going on with you today, buddy?
I just hopped in here. I'm on my laptop real quick because Luke was talking in there. I was picking him up in there in the mic, and I didn't want it to echo, so I just came in here real quick. I didn't have time to set it all up. I will while you're doing the interview, so that I'm good to go.
Go ahead, do the music.
All right. I do see a comment in the chat from Bill Big D. I do have some options expiring worthless this week. Baba calls. All right, here we go to the interview.
Hello, Bill Libby.
I feel like we're at a championship game. You know, the intro, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, we should do the intro again, but he shortened it. We have cool graphics. I don't know where all the graphics are. Aaron hides them sometimes. But how's life? I remember your wife met my cousin at dermatology school.
Yeah.
And then and you were like,
yes, right.
Start something new. And you talked about this and lending and VC. And I was going to do a fintech fund. I tried to take a step back from Benzinga at one point, like 8 years ago, and I was going to have this $10 million fintech fund, which one of my first investments would have been Quovo, which was bought by Plaid. That investment itself would have been $5 million, which the return would have been like $75 million. Anyway, I didn't do it because Benzinga was the core. And so upper90.io. Why don't you tell everyone what upper90.io is?
Sure. Yeah. So I think we've known each other almost a decade now. And my background, similar to Jason's, is in quant trading. And I was talking to my partner, Jason Finger, who started Seamless and kind of an OG in the tech world. And I was talking about how in the quant world, it's using data to make prices, and it's super competitive and efficient markets. And in the tech world, if you're a startup, you grow with equity, which is a very inefficient use of capital. And we just mushed our two backgrounds and said, look, data is everywhere. And so if you're a startup and you have predictable revenue, we should be able to isolate that and give you credit or debt. And so effectively founders can use less equity to get the same amount of growth. And it's the same business principles that we see in, Jason, in our world, but just applied to the private markets.
Yeah. And there's other companies doing that lending type thing on receivables with, having the stuff synced up. But you guys have done some of the biggest deals in the space. Like, can you name some of the companies you guys?
Yeah, for sure. So when the second thing is when we built our fund, it's, when you bring together people from different backgrounds, you create new opportunities. I've just seen that through my career. And so when we put together this group of tech founders and quant founders, we kind of found this new way to lend. And so all of our LPs are interesting business builders. We have 500 LPs, we have no institutions, and 75% of our deals come from our LPs. So it's this hugely vibrant ecosystem of different backgrounds. And I think we've been very fortunate. Of our first fund, we raised $75 million. We've done about 15 investments, and 4 of our first investments have been unicorns. So we were the first institutional capital for ClearBank, which just raised at a $2 billion valuation. We were the first institutional capital for Thrasio, which is rolling up all these Amazon small businesses, which just financed, at multiples of that. And Crusoe Energy, which is doing Bitcoin mining and is very capital intensive. And then Octane Lending, which is lending money to people buying power sport vehicles. So it's like all these different industries, but we've been able to, in Crusoe's case, say, hey, why would you spend equity on a Caterpillar generator that has nothing to do with being in crypto or startup? Or ClearBank, let us finance your account receivables. Or Thrasio, let us finance the inventory, or let us finance your acquisitions. So all these founders own like 2 or 3 times the amount of equity having worked with us versus if they went the traditional VC growth equity path.
No, so that's interesting. Whoa, I just heard an echo. Producer AB, you're doing something. All right. ClearBank, isn't it sort of similar to your model or no?
Well, I think that data lets us price risk. And so, and you know that better than anyone, and that's core to Benzinga's whole probably premise, right? And so ClearBank said, look, if Allbirds is spending $1 on marketing and they have 2 years of revenue history to say, I spend $1 on marketing, I make $3. They should be able to get financing for that activity. So ClearBank's isolating marketing spend, and ClearBank's the best in the world that I've seen, Michelle Romanow and Andrew D'Souza, at acquiring customers. Fintech's about customer acquisition, full stop. So we said, go and do what you're best at, building tech and acquiring customers. Let us be your FinCo partner. So we partnered with ClearBank to do this practice. With Octane Lending, we said, look, go and build a point of sale system for power sport dealerships. Let us be your FinCo. And so Thrasio, go and acquire all these Amazon stores. So my view is that every business should have upper 90 because we can isolate some part of their business that is more efficient and more predictable. So ClearBank we're partnering with, but there's many others that we can also partner with for other problems.
So that makes a lot more sense to me. So ClearBank, they know their marketing spend, and you're going to go to that specific item. So for Benzinga, we know our cost to acquire, our CAC, and our LTV for Benzinga Pro. And
Correct.
So, and say we're doing 10 million a month and we wanted to spend more, you could give us, instead of us going to raise, you would give us a loan, so to speak, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's really a mix. Like we're just saying what's happened is in the asset management space, every fund has raised too much money. And so they are now being forced to put as much money in as early as they can. So founders are ending up owning less of the company than the investors at the end of the day. And so like the people that are actually taking the risk should get more of the fruit, not the late stage investors. And to accomplish that, I think they need to use a mix of equity and debt. And so I think like to kind of like our most fun is sitting with founders. And so let's look at Benzinga. You do a conference every year. You're going to sell tickets. You might need cash now, and you can predict the amount of tickets you're going to sell. So we can front load some of those forward receivables. You might have a 2-year contract with Goldman selling them some technology or data or Millennium. We can help bring forward because you're not going to get those revenues into the future. So there's so many ways to work with founders.
But would I, for that example of the event, would I go to ClearBank too? Or
no, you would go to upper 90. So ClearBank, to your question, is just focusing on marketing spend.
Got it.
Upper 90 has a much broader mandate. We can work with a wide variety of customers to solve more bespoke challenges. So we're not kind of doing one thing in a repeatable way. We're looking to partner with people that are doing one thing well.
Got it. Okay. And how much money have you guys deployed?
Yeah, so when we were first talking, we had raised a $77 million fund in 2018, and it was 4 of us. And today we've invested over $1.5 billion of capital, and we have a team of 21, and we have over 500 LPs and about 50 portfolio companies.
So you raised 75 million, and then did you raise like a new fund of like 200 million, or was it?
Yeah, then we raised a second fund and a third fund, and we've done co-investments where we can size into our winners. We're a big believer that your best idea may be better than your next 10 ideas. So we have about 500 million in fund AUM, and then another $1 billion of co-investments that we're adding to our winners, like ClearBank and Thrasio.
What do you mean $1 billion of co-investments? Like
we've set up co-investment vehicles where we're managing capital size into ClearBank. Our first investment was 10 million. Our last one was 250 million.
Got it. Okay, that's awesome. Congratulations.
So we can be like a life cycle partner to these companies, but our key is getting in early.
Has your wife retired now and not even become a dermatologist?
She's doing God's work. She's much smarter than me, and is doing interest. She's the smart one of our family.
Yeah. Are you following the stock market at all? Any stock plays, anything like that?
Not really. I mean,
it's like there are certain companies. Like I'm a big believer in HubSpot. I have a big position. I have a big position in several companies, and
sure.
I
think that we're in a unique position for your listeners because we're investing in these companies. Like think of the amount of data that ClearBank has on how e-commerce is doing.
Totally.
So like you can then kind of extract that to like Stripe and Square and a lot of companies. Thrasio, for everyone on the call, is rolling up sellers on Amazon. Like Jason and I could leave this call and we're going to build a product for podcasts. Like people can buy a microphone kit and a web kit for podcasts. In 24 hours, we could sell that as a small business on Amazon. There's 50,000 sellers on Amazon that make more than $1 million of EBITDA a year. But each one of them are subscale. So like Thrasio is rolling up all of these small businesses like you would franchises 20 years ago. We could see from that how well Amazon is doing based on that organic growth of that industry. So I think we think that e-commerce, like everyone thinks will be a reversion to like offline sales will go higher, online sales will go down post-COVID. We think there's structural trends that will persist. Like we think like the Amazons, the Stripes, like these things will just get bigger.
Yeah, and and so how are the numbers? Are the numbers doing great? Thrasio, all these companies. I mean, I'm familiar with Thrasio. Are the numbers very strong?
They're very strong. I just think we found this white space where it's too capital intensive for a venture capital firm, and a bank is still not comfortable with like an Amazon seller, right? They're like, I can feel a coffee shop on Main Street, and I feel like that's real collateral, but if somebody's selling something on Amazon, I that's not real. Like, and I think that there's this white space of being able to underwrite like what is an actual business in the online world. And I think they're just going to be, what's the value of a like on Instagram to an influencer? Like, what's the value of a subscriber to your YouTube channel? Like, I almost guarantee in 5 years, you'll start being able to model what these are worth and get financing for that.
Got it. Yeah. And so you can monetize the person, the TikToker, right?
Absolutely. And it's going to happen. Like, it's a small business. Like, it's a golden age to be an entrepreneur, but you don't have financing that the technology's kind of outpaced the financing options. And I think that's the gap we want to fill.
And that's the gap you're filling. So, and you're over $1 billion fund now.
Yes.
Wow. That's impressive. So it's one of the bigger funds that you don't necessarily get all the press that, I mean, I know you're investing in, but
that's why we're here.
Yeah, I had to push you to come on.
Yeah, I love it.
Like, I'm so busy. But guys, if you have a company that needs money or wants money and has recurring rev, and it's defined and uses like Recurly or Stripe, Upper 90 has definitely solutions. And the thing is, it's not just money. You get access to their LPs, which is
absolutely
driven people. So I know this wasn't like a stock play, but I wanted to, Aaron, put that back up, please. And so these are some of the companies that
and just to give you a little bit more context, because I think opening up people's minds about like what can be financed. So FilmRise was one of our first investments. They take data from Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, YouTube, and Roku. They can track what people are watching digitally. And so with that information, they can estimate what the value is of content. So like after The Crown, they see British miniseries are very popular. So they'll go to BBC and they'll license their digital rights to TV shows from the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. And we're giving them the capital to go and acquire all this long tail content, which are then selling to Netflix and Hulu and Amazon.
So FilmRise buys the data from Netflix, Roku, and who else you said?
YouTube, Hulu. It has a way to kind of pull in all this data, and then they can model what viewership is. Bravo Capital, when you download an app on your phone for whatever purpose, could be Benzinga, could be a meditation app. Apple and Google pay those small business developers 60 days later. They need money today to manage marketing and inventory and payroll. Bravo will give them money today and collect from Apple. So like there's all these kind of new and interesting online businesses that I think we can really help get bigger faster without having to sell stake in your company.
Got it. Okay. No, I just put up FilmRise. It's a very unexplored industry. I mean, people are relying on Nielsen numbers, and Nielsen, correct. We used to be a Nielsen house. It's BS Nielsen. So, and
for the traders on the call, like, when I was talking to my old boss at Goldman, who's an LP in our fund, he said, look, in the 90s, like if Microsoft came to Goldman and said, I want to buy back stock, they would have no idea what the fair price of that derivative was. Products like Benzinga and others have kind of made it easier to type into a machine and get fair value. If you go to a producer and said, I want to buy the rights to Three's Company on YouTube International, they have no idea like what the fair value is, and it's new revenue. So I think it's kind of like unlocking all these new revenue streams for assets that, which is good for everybody.
No, and I just love your story because 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, we were talking back and forth, figuring out how to do this fintech fund. You were looking to do a fund. I kept growing Benzinga, and you started this from scratch. And it's $1 billion business. You guys, wherever you are today, you can start something and be, like as Bill said, Bill's dumb. It's his wife that's smart.
Exactly. You just bring together smart people, and I think pay it forward. I think that's our relationship. We've always tried to help each other when we can, and it comes back in spades. And I think it's fun for everyone in finance. I think it's really fun getting closer to the tech world where change is happening. And I think we can bring more efficient capital to help founders. And I just think it's just kind of an interesting merging of two worlds.
Yeah. And Billy, one of the people in chat said this guy is going to be famous like Elon Musk in 10 years.
We'll have to start a coin.
Try and watch. Yeah, let's start a coin. Now the next guest after you has a lot to live up to. You're getting compared to Elon Musk.
Well, my wife won't like that. I think he's had like 4 wives, so we'll have to be careful.
Yeah, that's true. Well, thank you for coming on, man. Appreciate it. Long time no talk.
Absolutely. Hope to see you in person soon. Congrats with everything.
Thank you. Congrats with everything with you, man.
Let's find a deal together.
Let's find a deal together.
And then we'll come back on the show. Let's do it. I think it's a goal. By the end of the year, we'll find an investment together based on these themes.
Done.
I love it.
We will find
one.
Okay.
Right? Talk to you soon.
Yep.
Thanks so much for having me. Thanks, Jason.
Yep. Thanks, Billy.
Bye.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye. All right, Aaron Bree, come back on. I'm going to bring you on. Okay, you got to hit add to stream. Aaron Bree, so, you get this, he took, an idea and executed on it. It's one thing to sit on the sideline and say, I should do this. I should do that. Or, hey, there's a hole in this market. I mean, he literally pitched this idea to me multiple times, and I pitched him the fintech fund, and he's like, all right, I got you in the fintech fund, get a couple others, and he was ready to back me with some guys and his thing, and and Benzinga took off. We're 125 people now, but it's a great story. I mean, you hear the amount of money under management, and the coolest thing is like funding Clearbank and Thrasio. Those are 2 ridiculously sized companies that have done so well. Clearbank, the customer acquisition has been unbelievable. Unbelievable. I didn't even realize to this moment that Billy was behind it, because they do a different part of the lending part of it, but I didn't realize it. So I like bringing stories like that that are not always stock specific. Now, Upper 90 definitely has a lot of data through these partnerships that they have and the investments. So we'll bring them on again and talk markets and stuff. What options, Bree? Because everyone's asking in the chat that you have expiring worthless this week.
Well, I made a joke about how every
week you have options expiring worthless.
Yeah, it's like a Friday tradition for me.
I know, and so what we are asking in the chat is, what options do expiring worthless?
I'm pulling up my Robinhood portfolio right here. So this week I have $250 calls on Baba. Baba is currently at $209, so I don't think it'll hit that $250 that I was aiming for.
It's not as bad as my blowing up my $5,000 in call options on Alaska Airlines.
It's not that worth that much, but it's probably just as bad. I mean, I'm looking right now at the total return. It's down 98.68%. I'm surprised it still says I have any equity in that trade right now, because I can't imagine that I'd be able to sell those contracts for anything right now. But yeah, Jason, I love bringing on guests like that not only have an idea, but they execute on it. I'm trying to learn something from people like that, where it's not, we've talked about this before. It's not about the idea. It's about how you take it through the finish line. And I think that's a lesson that myself and other people, hopefully in ZingerNation, can.
It's Bree. It's not just taking to the finish line. It's running to the finish line. But it's also ZingerNation. We're all one. It's not see, other media companies is one to many. We're all one. So we have a guest coming on later, and he was like surprised I wanted him on, and was and understandably asked questions over email. Me, I wouldn't ask questions. I was like, if they want me on, I go on. I don't care. You know how I am at the seat of my feet. But I understand asking questions. But this is what we do. He had a differing viewpoint yesterday about whatever, people that are apes and we shouldn't have them on or what have you, or people that were, who did we have on yesterday? There was someone, he had a different viewpoint to someone that was on yesterday. I forget who, but
we had Gareth from In the Money Stocks after the film producers that were doing the ape army.
Yes. And that's when he was saying a different viewpoint than everyone else. And I loved it. I loved that he had a different viewpoint. And so I want to get those voices heard, if we're all in the, if we're all in this group think mentality, and let's say I own AMC, right? And I own AMC, and like people call me whatever ape or whatever the word is, and he's like, that's a joke. Like, I want to hear that side of it. I want to hear the other side. I mean, that's part of the game. And then Aaron Bree, come on, you're the show producer. The Mulligan guys were on yesterday, dude.
Yeah, I said we had Gareth from On the Money Stocks, and before that, the guys that were producing the documentary, Mulligan Brothers.
You said Mulligan Brothers? If Aaron Bree said Mulligan Brothers a minute ago, press 1. If he did not say 2, press 2.
He's all right. They're saying 1.
No, they're not.
Or Aaron in the private chat said one. I said that we.
Get out
I don't know if I said
private
Mulligan
chat.
Brothers by name, but I said the guy that
You did not say Mulligan Brothers. You said the producers behind the movie.
Yeah. All right.
You didn't say.
I can
rewind.
see.
If you guys disagree with me, that's fine. I'll rewind. David Green, Lele, yeah, he was hilarious today about the options floor, about getting in fights and all that stuff. It was freaking hilarious. It was must listen thing. So if you guys get a chance, go to Pre-Market Prep, watch the show, and about 8:45 they're talking about these fights he got in, and also like you got to do these things to get the IPOs and have good benefits or whatever. And he had this whole thing of fights and other stuff. He said that his life was way wilder than Wolf of Wall Street, and he talked about it. So yeah, I wish we had an instant replay feature. What's the DD? Because he didn't. Yeah,
we need to get like a graphic of us going under the hood, like the NFL referees do.
Oh, I see you have this. I see you have this private chat. Yeah, and by the way, I see his private chat, and Aaron agrees with me. You said producers. You didn't say Mulligan Brothers.
I know. That's why like Tiny Pie is giving us a 1.5.
Yeah, that's why Aaron, when he wrote 1, that was wrong. He just did the Mulligans. But I know you said, I'm never in this private chat. I see you guys writing about it. Why don't we bring on the guest now? I see you say the 850 or the 1250, but you don't want to bring it on?
That was during the other interview.
Oh, that was it. Happy Muhammad. I love you. I don't know. I never talked to you on the phone, whatever, but I love you. People would have these dress shoes with little holes in them, and once you put baby powder on it, they'd ruin the shoes, and they would put baby powder on these people's shoes when they weren't looking, and that was freaking hilarious.
That's hilarious. Yeah, and after, if you do go check out Pre-Market Prep with Dave Green, he was also on for an hour and a half at the Open from 9:30 to 11 a.m. I was with him in the studio. He was trading live. He made some killer trades today. David bought GameStop below. He bought GameStop at like 177. A bunch of shares of it, like 20 shares of it, and then sold it once it went above 180. So he just does these in and out quick day trades, all based on technicals, and he's a brilliant trader.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, he mentioned today he's been trading Apple since 1986.
Yep. I heard that. I bought it in 96. But yeah, those are great stories. Speaking of that, David Green, great stories, great show today. We have 2 openings for overnight shows. So we have a 4 a.m. show Eastern. We need a 2 a.m. and a 5 a.m. So if you are interested, let us know. If you refer someone to us and they start, we'll pay you $250. So no, Triple D has to trade, Nick. He has to trade. That's how he makes his money. And he can't trade the account publicly. It's illegal. Or not illegal. The firm he's at doesn't let him. So sorry. But if you guys know anyone else to host shows, we got 2 slots open in the overnight edition. A lot of new things coming out. We got some great people joining the team. I'm always trying to hire the best and brightest that can just go with the flow and make stuff happen. I don't spend much time on the video stuff right now as I'm working on other things, but we have a good team that's a little green with their experience, so they're learning as they go. So any feedback you guys have, we appreciate it. You guys are the bomb. ZingerNation's the bomb. Bree, my trades today, buying my puts helped me on Tesla as a hedge. I do like my FGF still, my BTN, those are up but I'm down overall today because my account is still so weighted to Tesla. I mean, 30% of my portfolio is in Tesla. So
even with the puts, when it was down, $20 earlier today, you weren't green.
I wasn't green. I was green on the puts, but I'm long 30% of my portfolio. So say if you have $1 million portfolio and you have 300,000 in Tesla, and I buy puts of 8,000, doesn't do much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of experienced traders say you want to be way more diversified, but some really good traders, including Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, calls diversification diversification.
You're right.
And Buffett says it's easier for him to pick 5 or 10 big stock or good stocks rather than 100 good stocks. So I'm not really I kind of like the high conviction trade. So if you feel good about Tesla long term, then I don't think you should make it a smaller position in your portfolio just because some people are saying so.
It's a good point. I did sell a TripAdvisor today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I was done. It's not showing my trend, but you make a fair point. You just have made a lot of money on it, and
Well, that's something to consider too. I mean, if you've already made a bunch of money on it, and if like you happen to think, oh, Tesla's going to go down to 500 and you could buy back then you could try to do that. But I mean, I think if you still like the story long term and you want to hold on to it, maybe you end up passing some of those Tesla shares off to your kids someday. You know, I don't know. I don't think that it's. Some people have those like strict rules, right? Where they're like, I don't want this stock to be more than 5% of my portfolio or 10% of my portfolio. I don't really abide by that.
Yep. But no, I agree. Yeah, meet Kevin's great. He's a friend.
We've had him on the Power Hour before.
We did not take Kevin's producer. We got a different producer that is awesome. So we'll see, guys. Only time will tell. I just, I come on my show, this show from 12:30 to 1. Me and Luke used to do it for like 2 hours, hour and a half, but a lot of different things going on at Benzinga. So
wait, Lele in the chat is saying BTU, which is Peabody Energy. This is a St. Louis company, Raz. I should have been all over this.
Oh my God, why'd you miss this one?
Up 23%. I don't know.
Lele, where did I miss this one yesterday? Holy moly. Peabody.
Who was it?
Give me some. Hey, we have a guest on in 1 minute.
1 minute. Chris Capri.
He's a good guy.
All right, BZ Wire. Let's see if we got anything Monday. No, that was from a week ago. Monday, June 28th.
Lord. They have nothing on it again. I mean, what's the market cap? I mean,
market cap of Peabody? It's pretty. Yeah. It's not even $1 billion. It's one of the biggest like coal.
What's the symbol?
BTU. B as in boy.
Anyone know how much is it up?
It is up 22%. They're like a coal. Yeah, they sell coal through approximately 21 coal mines. They're one of the biggest coal manufacturers in the States. Operates out of my hometown of St. Louis, Missouri. So I know the company well. For some reason, it's not in my portfolio, but wow, it's been ripping today.
All right. So the Pro News Desk, we'll be updating that in a second and what's going on. Peabody Energy, I want to thank Lele for finding it. And then, Aaron, I want you to look at the BTU chart. It's just 2 seconds. Okay, I want you. Internet Enforcers are showing up. He said we should have 5,000 viewers. We would not allow 5,000 viewers. We will not allow 5,000. Max 500 viewers, max. Today we kicked out like 60 because we were over that 480. We're not going to allow. We don't want to. The thing is, there's alpha creating the show. We break stories. There's alpha. CNBC, everyone's seeing it at the same time. Here you get some stuff ahead because not everyone's on it. Too many people, the trade gets crowded. So
we want to keep ZingerNation a little.
Let me finish here. We've limited it. We've changed the methods and how we're doing this thing to make it a small community versus a large thing that, in the future, maybe we'll go that way. But right now we want it to be quaint and keep, the shows around, anywhere from 250 to 450. We did have in pre-market like 2,400 simultaneous. And it's hard because that show's been around longer and it's hard kicking people out, but we really try to like get them to come to other shows because it's too many. The trades listen, I go on the pre-market prep show, Bree, and I say a stock and the stock moves 5%. So not every stock, but it's harder. That's all. So, some shows it's fine, but if we're talking specific stocks, when you're at 5,000, it's too many to do that in the civic stocks. I mean, then you got pumpers and it's bad. All right, Aaron, do the intro guest. Thank you, man. And Internet Forces, thank you for saying hello. Just saw him showing up there. Nice. Go ahead.
Let's do it.
Hello.
How's it going?
Thanks for coming on. I know you were surprised that I invited you on yesterday. You thought it was like a joke, but that's just what ZingerNation is. We're many to many, so we have multiple people from the audience come on, and I mean, most of our hires have come from the users of the business, and the way they come on as hires, they just like join our business, join our like email, Slack, and then eventually there's a job for them. I don't know. That's just how it's been. That's not how it was 5 years ago. It's been how it is for video. So I wanted you to come on because you were surprised we had on the Mulligan brothers, and you didn't think that was good. That was damaging our brand or hurting it. And I wanted to get more, more feedback from you on that.
No, sir. It was actually quite the opposite. The Mulligan brothers were great to have on there. bringing attention to, GameStop and AMC and the things that are happening in the market is definitely something I'm standing up for. What I was having a problem with yesterday in the chat was all of the Chinese stocks prior to the mulligans that you guys were pushing on, running them up. And the one guy even specifically stood up and said, I think China's going to be the superpower. And, I don't exactly know where everybody's from, but I mean, that just sounds like that's a bad thing to say. I mean, just, there's plenty of bad ways out there to make money, morally, ethically wrong ways to make money. And I just didn't feel that doing something like that is right, whether you're going to make a buck on it or not, whether it's a good trade or not. Why you don't sell your mom? You know what I'm saying? There's just, I didn't agree with it. So I started poking in the chat, and just, and eventually actually what happened is almost all your guys' picks on those got trashed today.
Okay, so I need more clarity. I'm not good at pronouns. I'm good at like accurate and names. You were saying that someone said China is going to be the king or something of what? Who was the person you were?
That they were going to. So
no, don't use
forgive me.
Just
forgive me because I'm new to all this. I'm new to Benzinga. I'm new to the whole thing. There's the gentleman that's on the screen with me here, Aaron, and he was on the show yesterday with a gentleman in a white shirt. I don't know.
Yeah, I believe it was Luke. And I think he was just saying that he is expecting like the economy to keep growing. I don't know.
Yeah, well, and I get that, economies grow, economies do. But eventually, I mean, there's a whole lot going on in the world right now. Sides don't matter. I mean, whatever's whatever. But if you are from America, if you live in this country and you're going to stand there and say, hey, wait a second, I think China's going to be the superpower, and then place your money into that happening, it will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. You can't just feed them all of your money and expect them to not have more money. And that's what the apes are really about. And that's where, like, I seen that mulligans were coming on yesterday, so I was like, I'm gonna watch what these guys got going on. And the whole first 15 minutes was just pumping China, and I was like, whoa, this isn't what I signed. This isn't why I switched to this channel. I came here for integrity. I came here for the little man, the low guy, who's gonna fight, who's gonna stand up to all the systemic issues going on in the market. And then when I clicked on it, I received, hey, it's cool. You could just sell out for money. And I mean, like I said, when I started, there's many ways a person can make $1 immorally. And I just didn't agree with the fact that somebody would say, yeah, it's cool. I think they're going to win, so I'm going to give them my money.
Got it. Okay. So some of the feedback, Bree, Luke, I don't believe said that. It was a mainstream media person on TV said that, and Luke was referencing, or someone was referencing it. The people in here are saying it, but either way, the point is taken. What you're saying. So someone made a point, Aaron. He goes, I've never shot a gun, but I invest in bullets for profit. So he's saying he invests in like VSTO and other things. He doesn't want to kill someone, but he's taking advantage of that kind of thing. Would you?
By all means, you know what I mean? Like I said, there's many ways to make $1. Some of them are morally okay. You know what I mean? And each person's threshold of morals is different. You know what I'm saying? Like, the markets get pushed around so much. Like, it's really a rigged game. Everybody who's jumping in here, no one knows what's really going to happen. They're hoping to ride the coattail of somebody else who has more money than them placing those bets. It's happened with EV all the way. Check it out. In 1881, Gustav Travi created the first EV vehicle. You know what I mean? Back in the 1881, EV was a thing. There was a huge race in 1908, EV versus gas. You know what I'm saying? And then the Studebaker won that race. The EV won that race. What changed it to gas? What changed everything to gas?
Very simple. Do you know, or let me tell you?
I know the government came in and they didn't put in the infrastructure for charging, which led to gasoline engines being able to go out into the sticks out of major cities and make it. So the government came in and pressed it.
No, I mean that could be part of it, but that's not the main reason. I mean, this is told to me from Sandy Monroe. Go on YouTube in our interview. He said EV and gas had similar market share, and EV actually had bigger market share. And the reason was combustion engine. To start the engine, it took you like 3 minutes to wind something. And then some company came out with the automatic starter.
Henry Ford.
What?
Henry Ford.
He came with the automatic starter? Okay,
Yep.
so if Henry Ford came with the automatic starter, in overnight when that automatic starter came out, electric went to zero and combustion engine took over.
But electric won that race in 19. They won the race due to the fact that the EV did not have that problem of wind up start.
That's right. But then there wasn't infrastructure for it.
Yeah, well, so the government pressed infrastructure to put gas pumps throughout the country.
Yep.
But they did not press to put electric throughout the country,
And
even though the EV was the more efficient vehicle. They also came out in media, pressed all the EV back then as a woman's vehicle. It wasn't manly enough. It wasn't rugged enough. So the combination of the government putting its bet in gasoline by supplying the infrastructure, and then the media enforcing that, killed the EV way back then. Then you jump up to 96, right? 1996, EV got a big push from Chevy. They came out with the EV1. Tom Hanks, he had one. Then what happened is the whole time that Chevy is sitting here putting out these vehicles, they're lobbying Congress against all the carbon acts, against all of the stuff. And what ended up happening? Chevy won that in Congress. They went around, bought all of the EV1s and crushed them.
I love
crushed
it.
them.
I love what you're saying. Like you definitely know your history, and part of why you think the government put the infrastructure in for oil is because the government was making money off oil companies, off Rockefeller and all those things.
Henry Ford, all those. I mean, they could have. Okay, so you've got these groups of big guys, man. And these guys here, they don't want to give the power to the other guys. So how do they do it? They crush them. It was EVC was the company that got crushed out. And they actually didn't even sell the electric vehicles. They had community stalls where when you needed a car, you just went and got it. You went out, you drove it. When you returned it, they charged it, serviced it, and it was ready for the next customer. So they completely changed the entire aspect of the whole market. Like they changed the world with this. And now we're in the same situation. Okay, so that back in the 90s, they tried to push the EV and Chevy lobbied against it. Why'd they lobby against this? Because that was their hugest years on running up of SUVs. SUV sales were booming then. They could not have an EV come out. It would crush them. Now they've had time to prepare for this. Elon Musk has come out. He's running it. Shorts are trying to attack him and kill him at every extent. They're trying to just run this thing down and keep the people who run gas in power. Keep the oil. I mean, can you imagine the economic shift when everything oil all of a sudden goes away and we go to electric?
Right. So wait, real quick, Aaron, I want to go back to the main point that you were making about China earlier. And I don't, I'm not trying to have a big argument or anything, but I just want to kind of offer up like a differing point of view. I think it's very healthy when we in ZingerNation can come together with different opinions. And so here's my thought process. So say I'm a financial advisor, which I'm not, but say I was hypothetically. If I was managing your money and I saw some opportunities in companies in China that I thought could be good investments, but I didn't want to make them for political reasons, I don't think it's right to bring essentially politics into what my job would be as a financial advisor.
Yes, and then I do agree.
And similarly, so there, and then at the same point, if you look at kind of historically where China has gotten today, a big part of that has been from from American companies outsourcing manufacturing to China, right? You know, because the labor is cheaper. You know, whether it's moral or ethical, the labor that's over there, it's cheaper, so it improves the bottom line to do manufacturing over there. I would have more of a problem, I guess, essentially with the people in charge of the companies that are doing that, rather than the retail investors, the small guys, apes, if you will, that might just want to throw a couple bucks into Baba for a trade. You know, because at the end of the day, the people that are just trying to make a few bucks in the stock market are not the ones that are outsourcing the labor, taking what could be American manufacturing jobs, bringing them overseas for cheaper labor.
No, I agree. I agree 100%, except so you've tapped in on the major problem. The actual problem is these companies being allowed to go over, and everybody's outsourcing. Everybody's trying to get a buck. There's lawyers out there that defend people they know are guilty for heinous, horrible things. And it's the same kind of deal. He's still doing it, but he's getting paid. He's going to defend that guy. He's probably going to win because he's a great lawyer. It's the same thing here. Those companies go over, they do it for $1, knowing they're damaging it. Same thing, but at some point, someone has to make a stand. And
right. So you're saying that
it
should be the apes, it should be the retail investors saying we're not going to invest in any of these Chinese companies, taking a stand to the government that's outsourcing jobs. I get that.
And it's not necessarily just the Chinese companies. It's not political. I'm not trying to necessarily be political. Here I live in America. Of course I'm going to support America. You know what I mean?
What part of the country are you from, by the way?
I'm in California.
Okay. I didn't know if you were from. It seemed like you knew a lot about cars, so I didn't know if you were maybe from the Detroit area, Motor City.
No, I'm a mechanic. So
okay.
Like I said, I'm not really a trader. I don't gamble. I don't get into get rich quick schemes. All these pyramid schemes. I don't do that. I work hard every day. I keep my money. I saw in January something happening with GameStop and AMC. And I didn't see the dollar signs to it. I saw the morality. I saw people doing good. I saw people banding together to change stuff. And look at all the filings that have been coming out since. Look at the SEC going crazy. Look at hedge funds pulling their. We are making change. All it takes is one. DFV stood. And people saw and people agreed. And eventually people together, I feel, will take a second look at defending that criminal, at shipping the companies overseas, our dollars going into those overseas company doesn't really matter that much. But if somebody can stand against it, all the big companies that are shipping over there making that money, maybe they'll see, hey, these retail guys, they're not going to pay us if we ship out. They're not going to invest in us unless we start doing things ethically and properly. Ryan Cohen, he is all about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. It was a great story. It was good to be involved in the story. We had Andrew Citron on, one of the short sellers, or Andrew left from Citron, one of the short sellers came on.
I selfishly would like people to use Benzinga because we're U.S. based versus Seeking Alpha. That's a foreign company, right? Like, I mean, we're here. We pay taxes. Like, come on.
You just gotta hope that at one point in time, people will latch on to good rather than profit.
I hear you. No, I think there's something to be said for that, and
I just feel the ape movement has shown a light on it. I mean, like I said, I don't gamble. I've got money in this, and I've been up, and I will hold it until I am at a loss if I have to. Like I said, it wasn't never about the money for me. It's not a gamble. I will put my money into the hearts of men. I will back up goodness at all costs.
No, I get it. I mean, someone just said people want pay for Made in America. I disagree. I think people do pay for Made in America. I'm not saying for everything, but I'm saying a lot of things. I think if you know it's Made in America, there's a benefit to that, you know?
Yeah.
We should have done a marketing thing with that on 4th of July, Raz, talking about how Benzinga is better than Seeking Alpha since we're made in America.
You know, honestly, I didn't know that about you guys. And, you know, I will probably end up switching just because of the fact that you guys are in America.
Yeah, our headquarters are in Detroit, Michigan. We hire people from Detroit. I started a nonprofit because in the inner city of Detroit, no one was applying for jobs. And so there was no financial education training, like learn how to, like, you know, what an investment banker is or learn what the stock market is. We created like free courses because we want to be able to hire. I mean, we won't just hire in our state. We used to, but then when COVID happened, a lot of it was remote, but a lot of our people are in Michigan. So we probably have 40 or 50 people here in Michigan. And then the other like 40 or 50 are probably just remote, you know?
Yeah. I wanted to ask you guys, yesterday you guys were talking about the auto parts picks.
Yep, carparts.com,
yes.
ticker
What do you think
PRTS.
about it? You're an expert. What do you think about it? I'd love to hear that.
I'll tell you who's going to end up winning that. The Ryan Cohen will end up winning that. The guy who can come in and fill the gap between brick and mortar and online. Because the problem with online parts is if I order something, yes, I'm going to get it cheaper, but I'm going to have to wait a couple of days. So now I got to tell my customer who wants his car right now that he's going to have to wait a couple of days because I got to order parts. So that don't work. So I'll go to O'Reilly's or the nearest auto parts store so that I can keep my customer happy.
Well, Aaron, I don't know if you heard me yesterday when we were talking about this, but I essentially said the same exact thing. I said, look, if car parts can do the Chewy, can be the Chewy of auto parts, then I love it. But I foresee some of these other more established companies, you know, O'Reilly's, Advanced Auto Parts, whatever it is, come in and try to up their e-commerce thing. But even though, you know, Amazon was trying to do pet food, Chewy did it better. That's how Ryan Cohen got to where he is. Yep. So it's not to say that carparts.com can't do.
No, by all means.
Yeah, they can do it better, but we'll see if O'Reilly's, Advanced Auto Parts steps in and ends up taking some of the market share.
The key is whatever company can come through and lay some brick and mortar stores so that you order online. And then the customer, I can order it online. I can walk in there within the hour, pick up my part, and then go back to my job. And then if it happens to be wrong for whatever reason, I can just re-click, get it. You know, maybe I don't even have to go in. They just deliver it to me. And if it happens to be wrong, I send it right back and I get my next part within that next hour. Or if I have forgotten something, like I ordered an axle and I need a seal now because the seal was damaged when I removed the old axle. If they can figure out that median right there, that company will dominate.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Aaron. Well, we appreciate you having on today. We love bringing on guests from ZingerNation, especially when they, you know, when we have a different viewpoint, something to discuss. So we appreciate you coming on. Would love to have you on again. And if anyone else out there wants to hop on the show sometime, you know, I threw the email in the chat, powerhour@benzinga.com. Please reach out to us. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Is there anything else you want to leave us with?
No, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me on.
Aaron,
thank you for
coming on. You were great, and people loved you. They're like, hey, Aaron should host one of the evening shows. So thank you. I mean,
who knows? Hit me up.
Yep. No, you're great. And the stuff you knew about history with the electric motor and the motor engine, I'm going to say 98% of people in America do not know about that. I just learned about it about a month ago because of Sandy Munro. If you look him up, Munro, I had no idea. I had no idea electric existed back then. It's like the cannabis move. They got rid of cannabis because the pharmaceuticals and, you know, and like you got the Xanax and all that shit, but you could have just had a little bit of cannabis to mellow you out. You know, that's why Aaron Bree is so chill on here, because he's on that cannabis right now. Just kidding.
It's all big money push, man. And I'm just sick of everybody else having to ride the coattail, man. Like it just needs to be fair. If I make an honest pick on solid data, then that should at least have a chance of coming to fruition. The other big money players being able to just tank a market by selling out their shares, it doesn't work. It's a rigged casino.
I get it. I get it. Well, thank you for coming on, man. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, sir. Have a great day.
You too, man.
You too, Aaron.
Okay, so I got some news. Give me a breaking news item.
On BTU? All right, hold on before we go to it.
All right, BTU, go to the news.
BTU, Peabody Energy out of St. Louis, Missouri. Oh my God, it's up another 5% from the last time we checked. Going to overview, going down to Benzinga wire at 1:05 p.m. Peabody Energy shares are trading higher, possibly amid an increase in the price of coal stemming from China unofficially banning Australian coal imports and rising demand in other countries as economies reopen from the pandemic.
Yes. So we're moving up another 5% on Peabody Energy because the coal movement, you got to look for other derivative plays. What else do we have as derivative plays besides Peabody Energy? Give me some symbols in here. Let's look at those derivative plays. Do we got them? We got them. Come on, let's go. I need some right now.
Cleveland Cliffs, maybe. There's steel. Let's see what they're doing. Nope, Cleveland Cliffs isn't doing anything. Who else has other coal companies?
Can't trade BTU. Try to. Okay, nice job. Thank you, Christian Gallagher. Here we go. We need one play besides BTU. I want one. I know the Zinger Nation's out there and it can tell us one trade.
What if I just type in coal? Do you think a coal ETF or something will pop up? No, nothing.
Okay, well, what do we got? Okay, Cleveland Cliffs. They're not lending clubs. What tells Benzinga it's not that we use.
All right, here I got. Let's see if we got this one. Arch Resources is a coal play, up 8%.
Hey, what's a symbol?
Ticker ARCH. Arch.
ARCH. Do we have a moving on the coal move? You guys should get a note. What about
Oh, look right here. So this is in Benzinga Pro. I'm seeing gainers, top ships, shares upward 23. Oh no, that's old. That's old news.
No,
we have no news.
We have a derivatives thing. The guy said, "Don't give a search on the show simply the BTU." Yes, there's but Aaron Bree doesn't know how to use.
Oh, okay. I'm going back. I know what you're saying. All right. Arch, CEIX, Council Energy, NC, NACO Industries, AREC, American Resources. It looks like Arch and Peabody are the two biggest. So Arch's market cap is about 900 million. Peabody's is about 700 million. The other two coal ones that are on here are a little bit smaller, Council and NACO, but still could be some good plays there, Jason. And look how low this PE is, 8 and 9 on Arch and Council.
Got it.
All right, guys, it's 1:15.
We have one more. Sorry, Spencer, stay here. We have one more breaking story. Get an update real quick.
All right. Great.
All right, so do Lending Club. Put up Lending Club.
Lending Club?
Yes, just type the name in.
LC, ticker LC.
All right, dude, why don't you watermark the chart? There's a guy in the chat said $50.
Look, you have to go to the chart. Now it's watermarked, but I'm on overview. It's not.
Okay, got it.
So
okay.
maybe we have to talk.
Read the news. Breaking news. Let's go.
All right, Lending Club's shares tick lower on volume after company confirms to Benzinga has not settled with the FTC. So the company has not settled with the Federal Trade Commission. They confirmed to Benzinga, and shares are ticking lower because of that.
So look at the 1 day. We report it. Look what happens. You know what I'm saying? You're looking at 2 days. There you go. So look at the candles. Or those I don't even know what those are. You guys, I'm not an expert in this shit. I'm not a technical guy. So
this one right here is when the news dropped. It dropped all the way down. Then it kind of bounced back a little bit up here. But at this point, it looks like it would have been down, 3-4%.
That is an exclusive to Benzinga Pro. That is Happy Muhammad had called it right. Exclusive. Capital letters, exclusive. And that I don't know if they don't have the word exclusive. They don't because I don't know. They refuse to put that in, but they should. So if you're using Benzinga Pro with Spencer Israel, you just got some exclusive news. Spencer Israel, take it from here, buddy.
All right, the Moon or Bust show is starting right now. Aaron Bree,
what show?
The Moon or Bust show. We would normally get technical, but Neil decided to go on vacation.
Where is Neil?
I don't actually know where Neil is. Does anyone know?
He is in California, Californication, Hotel California.
All right. So
By the way,
anyways,
real quick, back to
Hotel California.
real quick back. If anyone is interested in that thing, David in the chat, who's a big member of ZingerNation, shout out David. He put the movie recommendation documentary called "Who Killed the Electric Car." So if you were interested in what we were talking about with our guest Aaron earlier, strongly recommend go check out that film. Great movie, and yeah.
And if, as always, if you send an email to any brokerage and say you want Benzinga news and you send us a screenshot at powerhour@benzinga.com, we will send you swag from polos to hair buns to wigs. I don't know, shirts, toothbrushes, Benzinga.
baby onesies. All right, Mooner Bus is up now. Aaron
Wait, Spencer, what are you trading right now?
Nothing. I'm trading Mooner Bus is what I'm trading right now. All right. Say it with me.
Do you still like ETF, Spencer?
Say it with me. Moon, I love ETFs, but you know what I love
What's
more?
your favorite ETF right now?
I love ETFs, but you know what I love more is Moon or Bust, which is up right now.
Spencer, you look really good. You have a new camera?
No.
You really do. His picture is way clearer than mine and yours.
Do you know why I look good? Because Moon or Bust is up right now. That's it. All right. Logan Ross is getting ready to go. We're going to end the stream. We're going to redirect to that. And
let's go.
Altcoins.
Root them on. Tell your friends. Go on social media. Root them on. Have fun. We love you. Yes.
All right.
Crypto on Moon or Bust. Stick around. Coming up right now.
When's your birthday?